Hello boys and girls, and welcome to another math lesson with Mr. Bedley. This is 4th grade Excel, lesson number 26. We're going to be working on money on this lesson. First thing we need to look at is right here, the directions. It says when adding several coins, mentally figure the amount of each coin rather than adding the individual coins. That means you don't have to justify your answer by writing down what each coin is. You can actually mentally add them up. So let's take a look at an example here. Leon has 2 quarters, 7 dimes, and 5 nickels. How much money does he have? So first they wrote down what 2 nickels are worth, or excuse me, 2 quarters are worth. That would be 50 cents. Then they wrote down what 7 dimes are worth. That's 70 cents. And then 5 nickels. That's 25 cents. This is how you show your work. Added it up to get $1.45. You don't need to write all this. All you need to write down is what each one is, the value of each one is. Now I'm going to ask you a little riddle here at this point in time that you'll have to stay tuned for the end of the math video to find out the answer. So your riddle is, what starts with a P and ends with an E and has thousands of letters? That's a tricky one. Okay, well, stay tuned at the end of the show. I'll tell you the answer to that fun riddle. Number 2, Waldo has 8 nickels, 6 dimes, and 3 quarters. How much money does he have? Go ahead and show your work right about in here and pause the video, try the problem, and then turn it back on after you are ready to see the solution. So you should have already done the problem. And you should have written what 8 nickels is worth, and each nickel is 5 cents, so 8 times 5 is 40. So we can write 40 cents over there. And then 6 dimes, of course, is equal to 60 cents, and 3 quarters is 75 cents. And then it says how much, watch out for the question now, how much money does he have? Well, 40 and 60 makes $1, and then 75, so that's 175 cents, or $1.75. Get your decimal point in there nice and dark. If you got it wrong, erase it and fix it. Let's try number 3. Go ahead and pause the video, do number 3, and then turn it back on for the solution. Alright, so you should have done number 3. Bertha has 2 quarters and $1/2. How much money does she have? She's got 2 quarters. She has 50 cents, and $1/2 is worth 50 cents. So altogether, you've got $1. Now, you don't even really need those zeros on there. If you have them, great. Otherwise, you can just have $1 like that. Hopefully, your 1 looks a little bit better than mine does. And let's move on with the lesson. Change can be given in several different combinations of coins. For example, 15 cents can be 3 nickels, or 1 dime and 1 nickel. Or, of course, you could have 15 pennies, or you could have 5 pennies and a dime, or 5 pennies and 2 nickels. There's a lot of different ways to make 15 cents. If you want to use the fewest coins, your choice would be 1 dime and 1 nickel. Some kids have a hard time understanding that. Well, if you want to make 15 cents, the fewest coins that you would use is a dime. I'm going to do a little picture here of a dime and a nickel. That's 2 coins. 1, 2 makes 15 cents. You see, if I make 15 cents just with nickels, there's 1, 2, 3 nickels. Well, that still makes 15 cents, but that takes 3 coins to do it. So we want to use the fewest amount of coins. Imagine that you're working at a store and you're selling something to someone, and you want to give them their change back. You don't want to give them, if they're getting 75 cents in change, you don't want to give them 75 pennies. That would take forever, and it would waste the time at the store. You would want to give them 3 quarters because that's the fewest number of coins to make 75 cents. So here it says to calculate the fewest coins, start with the largest coin and work down to pennies, adding until your sum equals the given amount. Fill in the blank with the number of coins requested. That means whatever they ask you for at the end of the problem, write that down. Do not include $half. $half, no, $half coins in your calculations for these amounts. Most stores don't even deal in $half. They work with pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. Now, I'm going to teach you how to do this a little bit differently than the way your paper does, so make sure you pay real close attention. The fewest coin problems, we're going to call those QDNP problems. Anytime they ask you for the fewest coins, instead of doing it like this, I want you to write down, see there it is, fewest coins. Using the fewest coins, how many dimes are there in 23 cents? Go ahead and do this on your paper now for number 4. I want you to write Q with a little blank, and then write D with a little blank, and then write N, and then write P, like that, QDNP. Q stands for, I bet you can figure it out, it's right over here. Q stands for quarters, D stands for?
Dimes.
Dimes, correct, Taylor. N stands for?
Nickels.
And P stands for?
Pennies.
Oh, that's correct, that's correct. Okay, so what we have to do is make 23 cents using the fewest coins, and you're going to go in order of the QDNP. So first you're going to do how many quarters you can fit into that amount, then put how many nickels, then dimes, then put how many nickels, and then put how many pennies you can put into it. So we always start with the quarters first. How many quarters can I fit into 23 cents? The answer is 0. You can't fit any quarters because 1 quarter is 25 cents. That's too big. Okay, then dimes. How many dimes can I fit into 23 cents? Well, 1 dime is 10 cents, 2 dimes is 20 cents, 3 dimes would be 30 cents. That's too big. I don't want 3 dimes. So I'm going to put 2 dimes to make 20 cents. Now I'm at 20 cents. How many nickels could I put in? If I put 1 nickel in, that would be 25 cents because 20 plus 5 is 25. So I'm not going to put any nickels to make 23 cents. And then how many pennies would I need? Always end with pennies. Obviously, I have 3 pennies there. And then the question says how many dimes are there in that? So you write your answer of 2 because there's a 2 right there in the dime spot. All right, if that's a little confusing to you, why don't you back up and take a look at that again and listen again, and so that you can understand exactly how to do these. They're a little bit tricky, so let's go ahead and move on. All right, here's a couple of fewest coin problems. I want you to try number 5, and I'll get you started. You're going to write Q, it's fewest coin, so you're going to write Q, D, N, P on your paper, and start with the Q, start with the quarters, find out how many quarters fit, then how many dimes, then how many nickels, then how many pennies, and then they're looking for nickels, it says right here. So that answer is going to go on the blank, just the number of nickels. So pause the video and turn it back on when you have your answer. Okay, you should have already filled in the QDNP. Quarters to fit in 43 cents would be 1. If you put 2 in, that would be 50 cents. That's too big. And so you're at 25 cents. If you add 1 dime, that's 35 cents. If you add 2 dimes, that's going to put you at 45 cents. So that would be too big. So a quarter and a dime makes 35 cents. 25 and 10 is 35. And then if we add 1 nickel, that makes 40 cents. And then 3 pennies, 43. Now when you reach a consensus, you must have the exact same show work on there. Both people have to have the same number of quarters, same number of dimes, same number of nickels, same number of pennies. So they ask you for how many nickels, and you write 1 in the blank there, or 1 nickel. Pause the video, try number 6, then turn it back on. All right, so using the fewest coins, how many quarters are there in 58 cents? Again, you should have put Q, D, N, P on your paper. Not a whole lot of room there to write, but how many quarters? Well, 2 quarters makes 50 cents. You can't put any dimes in. That would make 60 cents if you put in a dime. You want to put 1 nickel in to make 55, and then 3 pennies more would make 58. It says how many quarters? The answer is 2 quarters. Alrighty, so now we have some fact practice. Go ahead and pause the video. Do these as fast as you can, and then turn the video back on to see the answers. Alright, so 6 into 18 goes 3 times. Make sure you put the 3 above the 8, because it's not, if you put it above the 1, you're saying like 30. It goes in 30 times. 2 into 14, 7 times. 2 into 18, 9 times. 4 times, 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 4 is 16, and 9 times 2 is 18. And I'm sure you've been waiting to know what the answer to my riddle was. Remember, the question was, it starts with a P and ends with an E and has thousands of letters inside. And the answer is a post office. Get it? Post office starts with a P, ends with an E, and it has thousands of letters. Oh, yes. Different kinds of letters than you were thinking of, huh? Well, thank you for watching, and you have a wonderful day.